our dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King changed the perspective of some people with his no matter way. He was a very important civil rights activist, and thanks to him, nowadays the discrimination and racism has improved for the best.
Now with you, Miranda.
Thank you, Sophia and Paula. In the early evening of April 4, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was fatally shot in the head. He was standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel when, according to a companion, a shot was fired from across the street. In the friend's words, the bullet exploded in his face. The shot that killed Martin Luther King Jr. was fired from the bathroom window at the rear of a rooming house at 422 1.5 South Street, Memphis, Tennessee. For nearly 50 years, the federal government has maintained that the killer of Martin Luther King Jr. was James Earl Ray. This was tragic for most African Americans. He was a leader, a preacher, and a friend. The voice for those who didn't have one, and the eye-opener to the injustices that were considered normal. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was rushed to the hospital at 6:01 p.m. and passed away at 7:05 p.m. We would like to thank Martin Luther King Jr. Because of him, we are a better world now, and we have his speeches to remember who he was, and he was an awesome man that changed the world of millions of people. From above, we would like to thank you, Martin Luther King Jr. Because of your speeches, the world is a better place now. Now, I'm going to let you to Sophia and Paula.
Thank you, Miranda. Now we will be interviewing Janel Perez and David Pisanis. We are going to ask you about Martin Luther King. Who was him to you?
Who was Martin Luther King to me personally?
Yeah.
I would say he was a man who represented something bigger than him. So an idea. He was on the right cause, the right side of, I want to say, history, because I believe in his ideas. What he was fighting for was social cause, and I think that this idea will continue to spread as we move forward.
What do you think about his message?
His message, I think that it is, like I said, it is righteous. I think we're heading in that way of progress, of social justice. And I think he has done a great job to bring that to the people and to spread that more widely in different communities as well, as an African American spearhead of this kind of movement.
What was your reaction when he died?
Shock. I was shocked because it's always a shock when this type of thing happens, that someone would hire another human to assassinate another human. But then it almost doesn't make sense, but when someone feels so strongly about one idea, you can see how there's so much conflict. So it was shocking, but also sad. But I also think that his assassination will not stop the ideas that he brought to the world. So he might stop the man, but like I said, it's bigger than him. He was just one of the brightest minds to bring it to the world, and it will live on.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Now with you, Miranda.
Thank you, Sophia and Paula.
So, Janel Perez, who was Martin Luther King to you?
Martin Luther King, a very important fighter that for racism and fought for equalities for everyone.
What do you think about his message?
His message was known for so many people, and he transmitted equality. He emphasized that every man was created equal. So I think that his message is of value. Back in the day, it served as a way to abolish a little bit racism, but at the end, it serves we still have. So I think his message needs to be heard and keep on and refreshed, because is something like we're all living this planet and we're all in some point the same. We need to take care of each other. So at the end, I really love what he did and how his actions, he empowered them. Just really that.
What was your reaction when he died?
Well, I was not born at that time. So at the end, when I heard or when I read about how he died and what was his life like, I just reflect on it and think that he did a very good impact in society in the United States. Everyone remembers him solely. Very important person. He did a lot, being black and having a lot of things not in the right condition. Like everyone had racism, majority of people. So at the end, he really fought and had a very great life that serves as an example to the society in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. April 4th, 1968 will always be considered as one of the most tragic days in history. Our dear Dr. Martin Luther King was shot and died. He was the man who had a dream, a man that made a change. He opened the heart, minds, and eyes of many people. He changed the world. We thank you a lot, dear Dr. Martin Luther King. You will never be forgotten.
That's all for today at NPS News. Hope to see you next time.